Kevin Costner named the top 8 most beautiful women ever. Few actors have worked with more iconic leading ladies than Kevin Costner. From his breakout years in the 1980s through his current renaissance on Yellowstone, Costner has shared the screen with Hollywood's most captivating women across 4 decades. But beyond his on-screen partnerships, Costner has occasionally shared remarkably candid assessments of the women who've left the deepest impressions on him throughout his career. Kevin has this unique perspective, revealed a longtime colleague who's worked with Costner on multiple films. He's been the romantic lead opposite some of the most beautiful women in Hollywood history. But he sees beauty in a way that goes beyond the obvious. For him, it's about presence, intelligence, and this indefinable quality of authenticity that he can immediately recognize. Tonight, we reveal Kevin Costner's personal ranking of the 8 women who've most captivated him throughout his life and film. From screen legends he admired from afar to co-stars who left indelible impressions through direct collaboration. These selections reveal not just Costner's personal aesthetic, but his deeper appreciation for the qualities that transform mere attractiveness into the kind of beauty that truly endures. With my daughter. Wow. And when the moment happened where the wrong envelope was handed to them, Annette Bening, the commanding presence. At number 8 on Costner's list stands Annette Bening, an actress whose blend of classical training and natural presence creates an undeniable magnetism on screen. Though they've never shared lead roles, Costner has spoken repeatedly about his admiration for Bening's unique combination of technical precision and authentic emotion. Elegant, sharp, and impossible to ignore, Costner described her during a 2015 Hollywood Reporter Roundtable. What makes Annette special isn't just her obvious talent, but how she transforms ordinary moments into something memorable. She brings this laser focus to every scene that makes everyone around her raise their game. What particularly impresses Costner about Bening is her commanding presence, the ability to center any scene through sheer force of personality rather than theatrical techniques or visual styling. This quality aligns with Costner's own naturalistic approach to performance, creating a professional admiration that has endured throughout their parallel careers. She doesn't just walk into a room, she commands it, Costner has said in interviews when discussing actresses he respects. There's nothing forced about her work. She simply exists on screen with such conviction that you can't look away, even in the quietest moments. Though they've crossed paths at industry events and award ceremonies rather than on set, Costner has consistently named Bening as someone he'd welcome the opportunity to work with. This professional admiration reflects his appreciation for actors who bring complete commitment to their craft while maintaining an uncompromising authenticity. Though they never shared a lead role, he's called her his dream scene partner, confirmed a casting director who has worked with both actors. Kevin has this list of actors he wants to work with before he's done, and Annette has been near the top of that list for years. He sees in her the same commitment to honest performance that he strives for in his own work. What elevates Bening beyond mere admiration to inclusion on Costner's list of most beautiful women is how her physical presence is inseparable from her intelligence and skill, creating a complete package that exemplifies what Costner most values in his female collaborators. A little bit about your character in the film. Yeah, I play Ally Parker. She's the head of the salary cap of the Cleveland Browns, and she happens to be Jennifer Garner, the natural radiance. Costner's appreciation for Jennifer Garner developed through direct collaboration when they co-starred in 2014's Draft Day. This working relationship revealed to Costner qualities in Garner that perfectly aligned with his preference for natural, unaffected beauty combined with professional excellence. They starred together in Draft Day, and Costner was openly charmed, recalled the film's director, Ivan Reitman. There was this immediate professional chemistry between them that made their scenes together particularly easy to shoot. Kevin would come off set talking about how refreshing it was to work with someone so prepared, yet so naturally present in each moment. What particularly impressed Costner about Garner was her ability to maintain complete authenticity regardless of the scene's demands, bringing the same grounded quality to emotional moments, comedic exchanges, and the film's more technical dialogue about football operations. This consistency spoke to Costner's appreciation for performers who remain true to themselves under the artificial conditions of film. He praised her as natural, radiant, and calm in the storm, noted a crew member who worked on draft day. During a particularly complicated scene with lots of technical dialogue, Kevin turned to the director after a take and said, "That's what it looks like when someone isn't trying to act like they understand. She actually gets it." It was this perfect blend of intelligence and natural presence that really impressed him. Costner's appreciation for Garner extended beyond her professional capabilities to her genuine warmth with the crew and her lack of the typical Hollywood affectations that he's found off-putting in other collaborators. This authenticity resonated with Costner's own unpretentious approach to his career and life. He once said, "Some actresses try to look grounded. She just is." Remembered a producer who worked with both stars. Kevin has this radar for detecting anything false or performed in someone's persona. With Jennifer, what struck him was that there was no separation between the person and the public figure. What you saw was genuinely who she was, both on camera and off. This consistency between public and private self represents a quality Costner has increasingly valued as his own career has evolved. Moving away from manufactured Hollywood personas toward authentic connections both on screen and in his personal life. Really? Wow. See, that's what happens when you had a thing with her, is Susan Sarandon. The intellectual chemistry. Few on-screen pairings in Costner's career generated more genuine chemistry than his collaboration with Susan Sarandon in the 1988 baseball classic Bull Durham. Their scenes together crackled with intellectual and physical tension that transcended the script, creating a connection that Costner has referenced repeatedly when discussing the most beautiful women he's worked with. They made magic in Bull Durham, and the chemistry wasn't fake, confirmed the film's director, Ron Shelton. What Kevin responded to in Susan wasn't just her obvious beauty, but her extraordinary intelligence. Their scenes worked because they were genuinely challenging each other intellectually, creating this perfect blend of mental and physical attraction that you can't fake. What particularly captivated Costner about Sarandon was her ability to project both intellectual depth and sensuality simultaneously, a combination he's often cited as the most compelling form of beauty. This duality perfectly matched the character of Annie Savoy, the baseball groupie with the soul of a philosopher. Costner called her the smartest, sexiest woman I've ever acted with, recalled a crew member from the production. After filming their first major scene together, Kevin came off set and told me, "Working with her is like having a great tennis partner. Every shot comes back with something unexpected that makes you play better." That intellectual challenge clearly excited him as much as their romantic scenes. The impression Sarandon made on Costner has endured long past their collaboration with Costner, frequently citing her as the benchmark for the kind of engaged, intellectually stimulating partnership he values most with leading ladies. This appreciation has deepened over time as he's gained perspective on what creates genuine on-screen chemistry. He said, "She had the eyes of someone who knew the whole story and let you think you were catching up." Shared a writer who interviewed Costner about his most memorable co-stars. Years after Bull Durham, he was still referencing that quality in Susan, how she could communicate complete awareness and mystery simultaneously. For him, that combination of knowing and revealing was the essence of what makes a woman truly captivating on screen. This enduring impression speaks to Costner's appreciation for beauty that emerges from complete engagement, intellectual, emotional, and physical, rather than from more superficial attributes that might capture attention but fail to sustain interest over time. Serious actresses can't have big bosoms. Is that what you mean? Well, I think that they might sort of detract from the performance. Helen Mirren, the timeless elegance. Though Costner and Helen Mirren never shared significant screen time, his admiration for her represents something different on his list. Respect that borders on reverence for a woman who has redefined how beauty and sensuality can evolve throughout an entire career. Costner's respect for her borders on worship, observed a producer who worked with both actors separately. When Helen's name comes up in conversation with Kevin, There's this immediate shift in his tone. This unusual combination of professional respect and genuine awe that you rarely hear from him about other actors, regardless of their status. What particularly impresses Costner about Mirren is her ability to maintain both dignity and sensuality throughout the decades of her career, never attempting to present herself as younger than she is, yet never surrendering her essential femininity or power. This authentic embracing of each life phase represents for Costner a particularly compelling form of beauty. He said, "Helen isn't just beautiful, she's timeless." Recall the director who discussed Mirren with Costner during pre-production on a film. Kevin made this interesting observation that most actresses fight against time, while Helen seems to have embraced it as a partner. That approach to aging, gracefully incorporating each life stage rather than resisting it, clearly resonates with his own philosophy about authentic presence. Despite his own considerable star power, Costner has admitted to feeling genuinely nervous around Mirren, a rare confession that reveals the depth of his admiration for her poise, talent, and enduring elegance. This unusual difference speaks to the unique place she occupies in his personal hierarchy of admired women. Even during red carpet interviews, he's admitted, "I still get nervous around her," shared a publicist who has worked events where both stars were present. For someone like Kevin, who's worked with everyone and maintains this very centered, confident presence, to admit that kind of reaction is extraordinary. It speaks to how deeply he respects not just her talent, but her entire approach to navigating the industry while maintaining complete authenticity. This admiration for Mirren's integrated approach to beauty, talent, and aging reflects Costner's evolving perspective on what constitutes genuine beauty, moving beyond youthful attributes to appreciate the more complex and substantive qualities that emerge through a life fully lived and embraced. Parenthood part is kind of the best dish that I saw in the script. I loved it. Diane Lane, the magnetic authenticity. Few actresses have shared the screen with Costner as frequently or effectively as Diane Lane. Their multiple collaborations, including Man of Steel and Let Him Go, have created a professional shorthand and mutual trust that allows for particularly authentic on-screen connections. They've worked together on multiple films, including Let Him Go and Man of Steel, noted the director of Let Him Go, Thomas Bezucha. What's fascinating about watching them work together is this immediate comfort level. There's no warm-up period needed. They drop instantly into a relationship that feels lived in and real, which is extraordinarily rare, even among experienced actors. What Costner particularly values in Lane is her complete commitment to emotional truth, her willingness to fully inhabit vulnerable moments without vanity or self-pity protection. This courage creates a magnetic quality that Costner has referenced repeatedly when discussing what makes certain actresses especially compelling on screen. Costner has described her as deep, grounded, and magnetic. Shared a cinematographer who worked on Let Him Go. During one particularly emotional scene, Kevin watched Diane's performance on the monitor between his takes and just shook his head in admiration. He turned to me and said, "That's as good as it gets." Total commitment with nothing held back. That willingness to be completely exposed emotionally is something he clearly finds beautiful beyond the physical. Their professional chemistry has evolved through multiple projects into a deep mutual respect, with each bringing out particular qualities in the other's performances. For Costner, Lane represents the ideal scene partner, someone whose complete presence allows him to fully inhabit emotional moments without self-consciousness. He once said, "When she's in the scene, you forget the camera is even there." Recall the producer who worked with both actors. That's the highest compliment Kevin can pay to another actor, that they help create moments so authentic that the technical apparatus of film disappears with Diane. He feels that connection consistently, which is why he continues to seek out projects with her. This appreciation for Lane's ability to create genuine emotional spaces within the artificial context of film speaks to Costner's valuing of authenticity above all other qualities, a perspective that has only strengthened throughout his decades in the industry. Bright Bardot, the eternal fantasy. Not all the women on Costner's list represent direct collaborators to speak English in London. A good place. Yes. You are a Brigitte Bardot, the eternal fantasy. Not all the women on Costner's list represent direct collaborators. Brigitte Bardot, the iconic French actress and sex symbol of the 1950s and 60s, hold a special place in his personal pantheon, is the embodiment of an era's ideal of beauty that made a profound impression on him during his formative years. Though they never met, Costner once said in an interview, "If you grew up in the 60s and didn't fall in love with Bardot, you weren't alive," recalled a journalist who has interviewed Costner extensively. There was something almost wistful in how he discussed her. This acknowledgement of how certain images and ideals shape our understanding of beauty at impressionable ages. What makes Bardot's inclusion on Costner's list particularly interesting is how it represents beauty as cultural phenomenon rather than personal connection, an acknowledgement of how certain figures transcend ordinary standards to become definitive references for entire generations. For Costner, Bardot embodied a particular kind of liberated feminine energy that represented something revolutionary in its time. Classic beauty, untouchable mystique. Costner reportedly described her during a conversation about influential screen icons. What fascinated him about Bardot wasn't just her obvious physical attributes, but how she projected a sense of freedom that was radical for her era. This unapologetic sensuality that challenged conventions while creating new ones.